So today I'm going to talk about one of the more criminally unnoticed games during the PlayStation 5 event, yesterday of course, and that is Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and this game is massive, or at least has the potential to be so. Little Big Planet was a massive success, and it featured two sequels, mainline of course, Little Big Planet 2, and the not so good Little Big Planet 3. And at that point, the series was somewhat dead with Little Big Planet 3. It featured a couple spin-offs. Those kind of weren't very good. And it used to be a mascot for Sony. And then it just kind of faded into obscurity. Until now. Sumo Digital is now making Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and this is sort of a 3D platformer. And why this has the potential to be so great is because it's in direct comparison to Mario. You do not have the world building mechanics and the level making mechanics that you had in Little Big Planet and Little Big Planet 2, presumably. I could be wrong about this, it could be added, it could be changed, I don't know, but from the trailer I saw, it doesn't look like you will be able to make or edit levels in Sackboy: Big Adventure, and this is a real shame because it is truly a 3D platformer, and I think Sackboy: A Big Adventure could have beat Mario Maker to the punch in terms of making a 3D game. That being said, I think Sumo Digital is on the right track with Sackboy, as it is still a very well-known Sony IP, and it is still a mascot for PlayStation. So having it in the direction of a 3D platformer line could be great because it can compete with Mario and other 3D platformers and could be a revival almost for the genre as a whole. A reason why this is so big, besides it just being a cool game, is that it's a new Sackboy game. We haven't seen one since 2014's Little Big Planet 3. Looking at the trailer, the graphics aren't great. I mean, there's PS4 graphics, and it could potentially even be PS3 graphics, so we saw a Little Big Planet 3 ran with that. So what do they need to do to make this game succeed? It lies in a few different categories. One is they have to make sure that it's not broken. Little Big Planet 3 suffered of, for lack of a better term, pure brokenness. It was sort of a mad chaos. The game itself was pretty good, but it was totally bogged down by a wide array of bugs and glitches that brought down the experience considerably. And part of that was because it was a cross-gen game on the PlayStation 3. I don't think they will make the same mistake here, and it will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive, unlike Little Big Planet 3, how that was not a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Though it could easily go on the PlayStation 4, and I don't think that would hinder its experience as nearly as much as Little Big Planet 3, because it has the graphics of a PlayStation 4 game. It is not this mind-boggling PlayStation 5 looking game. Now, sure, it could feature some of the mechanics of the new PlayStation 5 that could be advantageous to its game development, but that is still left up in the air as we do not yet have a release date for the title. So if it's not going to have the best graphics, and hopefully it will not have any glitches, the second main category that it needs to excel in is design. And this is, of course, correlated to not graphics per se, but the feel of the characters, how they look, how they interact with the environment. Because keep in mind here, Sackboy in itself is supposed to be this cartoonish thing, but I think it would be amazing if they had some elements of some kind of deepness, and it does look like a simple co-op, did it and done adventure. If they had some replayability features here, I mean, I know I keep saying this, but Minecraft Dungeons has some great replayability options. So I think the last category, and second most important, it's all up in the air, but a very important category nonetheless, is how the game plays. And I know this is obvious, but Little Big Planet suffers from some serious platforming issues. The controls are a little slippery, I'd say. Now, I'm not a huge Little Big Planet fan, but I do have a very deep appreciation for the series and what it has done for platformers and level creators as a whole. So, when it comes down to a 3D game from Sumo Digital, designed around the Sackboy series, Little Big Planet, of course, it is a little confusing on how they're going to master the platforming here, because there's a big emphasis on that, even a little bit more so than I'd say on the Little Big Planet games, because that had more ingenuity, I'd say, in the level creation, because consumers could make their own levels and not have it super focused on platforming. They could have it focused on other objectives, other tasks, have it more of a fun thing. But with this, it seems more of an adventure game, a third-person adventure 3D platformer. So they really need to hone in on those controls there. They really need to get those down before they start focusing on so many extra things, like replayability, like, for example, the game's graphics, and of course the character design. So that is how I think Sackboy: A Big Adventure could succeed and become an amazing game. But will it? Time will tell, but honestly, I'm unsure at this point, because the game looks pretty fun. Like, I think this looks great, and it's giving some serious Mario 3D World vibes here. And is that a good thing? In a way, yes. In a way, no. I think it's more leaning on the good side, mainly because it is that Mario killer, you could say. But here's the thing. Little Big Planet and Sackboy as a whole was such a different franchise, and it almost feels now that they're being a little samey. Though I think Sumo Digital is such a creative studio as a whole that I do think we might have some ingenious level design and, I don't know, maybe even some cool character designs, graphics. Maybe there's something about this game that will truly blow me away, and I will be impressed on how it controls, how it feels, the atmosphere, the character design, and just being a blast with friends all around. Before I end this video, there's one last subject I would like to touch on, and that is on the co-op. So it is a co-op adventure, which is kind of, I wouldn't say disappointing, but it's different, to say the least. It is truly indicative of how Sumo Digital wants this to be different. They don't want it to be a pure 3D platformer, and that tells us that it's going to be different. And is it really going to be that great of an experience, or is it just going to be a cheap, I don't know, game? I hope it'll be something special, and I truly think it has the potential, and it just might. Nonetheless, I do think Sumo Digital is heavily talented, and this game will be good at least. So, all in all, the co-op is a weird feature. It can both harm a game and help it. It seems that they really focused on the co-op in this trailer, and sure, this is just a first trailer, and we'll see more about the game in the future, but it is a little troubling to know that they are focusing so heavily on a feature that might bog down the overall experience. And here's one thing that I think could help this entire situation with co-op, and that is being able to play online. See, Minecraft Dungeons has a few flaws. One of the main ones that I would like to point out here is that you cannot play with random people online. Now, I use Minecraft Dungeons here and a little bit earlier in this video as an example of the entire game because it's just sort of a friendly game. That's the main reason why I'm using it as an example, not that the two are in direct comparison or anything. Anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. That is my own thoughts on the Little Big Planet. Sorry, not Little Big Planet. Sackboy: A Big Little Adventure, which is the title they should have gone with.